Take two. Actually, it's three. Magnus, calm down. That was just a thing. And yep, I should probably brush my hair more frequently. So the beginning of my podcast today got abruptly canceled. Kids, dogs, bumps, things, who knows. So this is the primary yarn part because I went crazy scattered on the other parts, the dogs, the house, the whatever. And yes, I've rearranged the dining room again because some people run, I move furniture. I am the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. My name is Laura. I have 3 dogs. I have 3 kids. I'm legally blind. I drive an electric scooter, mobility cart scooter, and I crochet and I knit. I give classes to kids, adults. I do finishing work, and I have this thing here. I call him Lewis because it matches a tattoo in the seafoam green, and that's the last name of a tattoo artist that I love, that I got a lot of my tattoos from. Yes, I have many. And so I do give away a lot of sock tubes for various stuff. Other podcasters' prizes, have random drawings. I'm not very good at it. Other people do better tubes than me. They are denser, they are better. They can do a whole sock. I'm not there yet. But I think it's fun for people to see it. And I'm in this to be a friend in the community. And when I hopefully get out in the community to some retreats or some get-togethers, that I will have people I can recognize, which isn't easy for me, and have those connections. So let me get to the yarn part of today. Okay. Hoofda. This is a Knit Picks color that's just a merino superwash. And what I'm thinking is to just Kitchener the ends and let it be a scarf for a little boy. But I'm not entirely sure because I'm also thinking if I just unwound some ends, I could do some ribbing and have a pair of kids' leg warmers. I've seen them around the school. They're in. Then this is a sparkle sock from the first month of the Grocery Girls. And then this is something sherbet from Darn Yarn, Minnesota. And then the other half of the mini. So I don't know if you can quite get that. So basically I split the mini. This yarn at the ends is called waste yarn. It's intended to be unraveled so you can use every last bit. So you could split this tube in half and have 2 really long socks. You could split it here and make some shorties. I have 2 sets of shorties because let's just figure this out. And oh my gosh, I guess I have to get a ruler, which is not my strong suit visually. At least I know where to look for it. Shh, 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 shh. All right, let's try this. So this is my 64 stitch. The brown is 8 stitches to the inch. And the pink is harder to tell. And the pink is about 8.5. Which is, just a slight difference. You know how some fingerings are a little bit thicker, whatever? For whatever reason, that's just the slightest difference in gauge. And then this is, I would go so far as to say a sport weight and not a fingering. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see this at all because it's so, maybe if I tried a lighter section. Yeah, this is 10, I think, per inch, 10 stitches per inch. I'm not the best at adjusting the tension on here to get different particular gauges, because it's just fine tuning that I have a real hard time with. At some point, I'm probably gonna get there because you can feel when you make the cranks, but some things are just harder for me. So I wish there was more sport weight sock yarn. But I can't decide if this is going to be, if this tube with the mini split is going to be a prize or potentially a scarf as a Christmas present, because this Darn Yarn Minnesota is raspberry sherbet, and it's her MCN sock. So it's going to be fabulous once it's washed up. And, oh my, did I not write it down? Okay, there's 50 rows of brown on each end, and there's 499 rows of the pink. The blue is the end waist yarn and where you would pull from to unwind it like a sock blank. And that is a 80-10-10 MCN 435 yard 100 gram. However, I weighed it and it was more like 111 grams, so she's quite generous. And I've had other skeins from her. She always seems to be quite generous, which really, in using this thing, I appreciate, because you do end up with some waste where you're pulling out and you're, you know, making your own little ball if you want to have your toes done in this pink color and then just use the browns for the heels and things like that. I mean, it's something I definitely appreciate. So this is 2 full skeins and a mini split. I started and kept going and kept going and kept going, and then pulled it off, and it took me an hour. And I'm not the fastest at it, and I'm a little bit more wonky, but an hour to have more than 1,000 rows, holy crap, that's just fabulous. Fabulous. And you know, you can break these things up and make headbands. I'm gonna try with some of my other shorter bits to see if I can't make fingerless gloves, because I don't understand all of the instructions in the patterns that I've gotten. The other thing is, I'm gonna try taking out a few of the needles and just doing a number of rounds where I've got like 4 or 5 needles that aren't knitting, because I think that would work. However, I do believe that as I go round and round, if I just move a stitch over every round for so many, then I would have a hole. I gotta figure this out, because this is gonna be my fast way to some Christmas presents and fingerless gloves, which are something you use in Arizona, and I can do it at a slightly less dense gauge. So then my next tube is, starting with the yellow, and this is a Lolo Did It. It's either a Yeti or a Hippo. I have lost the deal. And this is a mini in a Knit Picks. I thought it complemented. And then I did, with some real gauge issues, a Trekker, like 100 rows, a little more than 100, about 105. You can see that I had a wonkiness here, and you can maybe see that bit. That was kids and dogs, and my daughter cranked a few times where she shouldn't have. And then I put on a Knit Picks speckle, and then my waste yarn on this end broke, so I have like 1 row of waste yarn. But this Knit Picks speckle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is 9 stitches per inch, so that's not bad. And then I have a black Lolo mini, so I am thinking about using this and then putting in heels and toes in the black, and maybe even the cuffs, because I think that would be kind of a fun pop of sock. I'm hoping to do some more Trekker tubes for myself, where the sock is green and then the toes and cuffs are some of the waste yarn, the little mini ends, the 10 gram here, 10 gram there that you get. So how many rows do we think the whole contraption of this Lolo skein and mini? Minis tend to be 100 rows, because minis tend to be right on that 20 gram mark and 100 rows. The skein itself was 459, if that gives you an idea. So I know that, like, for my size foot, from I'll put in the toe, and then I need about 60 rows to put in the heel, and then maybe 10 rows, and then a folded cuff of 30 rows. So I'm looking at 100 rows would actually give me a shorty sock with a little bit extra for the toes and the heel. But that's with that turned hung hem, as they call it. And I can hang the hems on the machine. This is a hung hem where you just fold it over and stitch on the inside. So you do your number, then you just pull it up, put it around, so you've got 1 row that's 2 knitting together, and then it just keeps knitting. And it's quite nice. And I can do it by hand also. But I didn't think I would like the hung hem at all. I thought, oh, that's ridiculous, I don't like it. But actually, it's very comfortable. It does give you a little play. It's very, very comfortable. I love how these turned out. I showed them this morning, but I was such a little runaround. So I've got 1 dark and 1 light, because that was in a like a gradient change yarn. So I really like how that turned out. I really like it. I think it's fun, and they're squishy. I did what's called a deep heel, so it's an afterthought heel, but it's not with half the stitches, it's with that little extra. 1 on each side, and I'm going to try 2 on each side because it just fit a lot better. I really, really liked it. What else? What else? This. Which one was this? Oh yeah, that's funny. So that Knit Pick speckle was 437 rows. And the superwash was 575. Wow. I definitely think that's long enough for a scarf. So people should plan on some scarves, maybe some headbands, maybe some leg warmers. I really do not like ribbing, but I haven't mastered it on the machine yet. It's a challenge. But I'm hoping. And yes, I'm feeling so pressured and stressed. We're already in October. I've got to work extra hours November and December. Yes, I can do some knitting while I'm at work for those hours, but I'm just tired. It's been a long year. So I did contact someone, hopefully, that also has a sock machine that might be interested in making me some man-size socks. Because 64 works, but my dad, who's 80, he's got flat feet and his feet are very, very wide. So I think a 72 cylinder would be better for him. And I am thinking about getting one myself because right now I just have the 48 and the 64. But that's it. So thank you very much to people I love, W2F Knitting, Knitting I Love. Oh, we are one person away in the Yarn Closet group in Ravelry towards a mystery giveaway. Not a mystery giveaway. I showed a picture. So get on there, people, and I can start sending some gifts. And I did contact the first commenter after I hit 25 subscribers. I'm already up to, I think, 31. Holy smokes! What? I thought this would literally be my mom and my mother-in-law and, you know, maybe a couple of ladies from school watching occasionally. I really didn't think that people would like it. Is it because I'm a little bit scattered? Is it because dogs are fabulous? Kids are cute? I don't know. But I am enjoying this other space for working. I feel a little bit more connected to the family, although there is a bit of a complaint about the noise. Let's see what you think. All right. I have to be very careful of my hair. I have snagged it a bit. Don't tell my husband I cut off about 3 inches this weekend. He hasn't really noticed. So I went to the hair salon, got a really bad cut a couple of years ago with these awful layers that haven't quite grown out because I've had old lady thinning. But I'm trying to get, for some reason, I just want it all one length for a while. And then maybe I'll put some layers back in, but I can't actually do much to style my hair. So I'm trying to make it easy. But that's the noise. That's the deal. I hope you've had fun today. I have had so much fun. I can't believe that I've already been doing this almost 3 months, 2 months. I mean, I can't believe. And I can't believe that I have made some great friendships. Thank you so much. And look for giveaways. Get a hold of me. Thank you all. Have a great knitting weekend and enjoy.